Welcome back, guys, to Miles Edgeworth Ace Attorney Investigations, where last episode we completed the first case, Turnabout Visitor, with the culprit Prosecutor Portsman now in custody, but with question marks having been raised about something bigger going on, with the thief Yataglass who's supposedly active once more as the second person who was on the scene that night. We now return to 2 days prior to see the incident that heralded these happenings in Turnabout Airlines. The murder that occurred in my office. The return of the great thief Yataglass. Thinking back, everything began on that fateful day 2 days ago. And so we returned to find out what happened. With Crimson next to a prone Edgeworth. Yes, everything began high up in the air. 9,000 feet in the air, to be precise. Thank you for flying Akbey Airlines. We are currently experiencing some slight turbulence. We are asking all passengers to please return to their seats and fasten their seatbelts. Red of a different kind. March 12th, 6:13 AM, flight I-390 in the first floor lounge. Please tell me that no actual airplanes ever have anything this gaudy in them. Ugh. Could they even fly? I don't know. It just looks weird. Elevators? What? Why do I feel like I just woke up from a horrible nightmare? 6:13, huh? Guess I was out cold for about 10 minutes. Slight turbulence indeed. Ladies and gentlemen, we are currently experiencing some slight turbulence. For your safety, we ask that you return to your seats and fasten your seatbelts. I suppose turbulence is to be expected on a flight. Though admittedly I am less than comfortable with anything resembling earthquakes. What's this? A travel wallet? But it's not mine. How did someone else's travel wallet wind up in my pocket? Ugh, my head. Why would this headache go away? I'll take care of this travel wallet later. Or hand it off to an attendant. From earthquake-like turbulence to an elevator. What am I doing hesitating like this? Actually, I knew full well while I hesitate. It was when I was still but a young child. I was caught up in a murder that happened in an elevator. But how long am I going to let my past haunt me? It's just an elevator. I'm a grown man now. I need to behave like one. What the? What in the world happened? Is there something wrong, sir? I must ask that you please return to your seat. Ah! He's dead! Please calm down. We mustn't jump to conclusions without all the facts. What's wrong? Did something happen? You murderer! What? No. You have it all wrong. It wasn't me. Well, the problem of being first on the scene with the second person showing up at the wrong time, eh? Second floor, first class. Everyone, I'm sorry to interrupt, but I have an important announcement. I'm one of your flight attendants today, Rhoda Teneiro. Unfortunately, we have just had a minor accident on this flight. Minor. An accident? Don't treat us like we're stupid. I caught a glimpse and it was a murder. What? Murder? What's going on with this flight? Everyone, please calm down. There's no reason to panic. This flight will stay on course and make its scheduled landing. We are still currently in the middle of a rough patch of turbulence. So until we're out of this area of turbulence, I ask that you please remain seated. But someone was killed, right? I mean, what about the killer? Let me off! Please, there is no need to feel threatened. We have already apprehended the culprit. I ask that everyone please remain calm. What the heck are you talking about? Why should we remain calm? My name is Miles Edgeworth. I'm a prosecutor and I assure you I am not the killer. Being a prosecutor doesn't make you incapable of murder, buddy. Now you listen here. I'm not the killer. I simply found the body. So you say, however, I am sure that you are the perpetrator of this crime. I swear on my honor as a professional flight attendant. Oh, is that right? I know what I saw. And there's even very strong incriminating evidence to back me up. Oh, is there really now? What kind of incriminating evidence is she talking about? We've already alerted the proper authorities at our destination. Until we land, you will remain in our custody by the powers vested in our captain. I'm very sorry, but please understand our situation. Your situation? I'm more concerned with mine and the direction it's going in. I'm not about to just sit idly by while I get accused of murder. Miss Teneiro, is it? Yes. I was wondering if you might give me a chance. A chance? To do what? A chance to plead my case? And a chance to ask what you meant by incriminating evidence just now. To accuse a passenger of such a grave crime without allowing him to give a proper defense. Can the professional flight attendant inside of you really call this action righteous? You have a point. Very well, I'll listen to what you have to say. But be wary of what you reveal. I'm afraid you'll only look even more suspicious if your explanation fails to satisfy. I also do not have the time to deal with you all day, so please make it quick. Of course, as you wish. Good. Very well then, let's get started. I know for a fact that I didn't kill that man in the elevator. What I don't know is what sort of evidence she has up her sleeve. But I'm certain it doesn't fit with how the crime really occurred. So, what did you see, Miss Teneiro? You just saw me over the body? Is it because what I was holding? I swear to tell the whole truth as a professional flight attendant. Well, I know that's going to be useless to press, but we'll press it anyway. Unfortunately for you, Mr. Edgeworth, I'm certain you are the killer. The scene I saw in front of the elevator. It was you standing there with fresh blood dripping off of the murder weapon. Well, that's wine. So if you would please cooperate, we'll turn you over just as soon as we land. That's it. That's the evidence. I don't think you could ask for a more perfect witness testimony. Wouldn't you agree, Mr. Edgeworth? Not really. It's hardly perfect when there's a gaping hole in it. I mean, do we have that as part of the, do we have that as present evidence? I'm just wondering what we've actually got in here at this point. We do have the travel wallet. Isn't mine, so whose is it? I mean, I'm guessing we're going to be presenting that, but still. Let us begin. The pressing.
Hold it!
Tell me, what exactly puts the pro in professional flight attendant for you? Well, it means we are very professional about how we take care of our passengers. Services like fetching papers and responding to calls are done with speed and accuracy. I can assure you that I give testimonies with the same level of professionalism. But I'm sure you have already realized that by now, right? It's a bit hard to appreciate your professionalism when I'm the one under suspicion. And there you have it. My professional testimony is accurate and reliable. Unfortunately for you, Mr. Edgeworth, I'm certain you were the killer.
Hold it!
You certainly seem sure of yourself. Of course, a professional flight attendant can't afford to make mistakes after all. Perhaps, but you must admit there are few who can look at a murder with a clear mind. We attendants all go through extensive training and are always calm and collected. We'll even calmly serve you coffee, if you so wish, as the plane makes a splashdown. I failed to see how that would be the calm and rational thing to do in an emergency. Also, splash, boom, when she hit the roof, I don't know. Even until the bitter end, we are there to serve the passengers. That is the duty of all professional flight attendants. You certainly are confident. Anyway, shall we return to your testimony? scene I saw in front of the elevator. What did you see then? Yes, what did you see in front of the elevator? That's what I was just about to tell you, Mr. Edgeworth. Framed by the elevator doors and bathed in the light coming from within. It was you standing there with fresh blood dripping off of the murder weapon. Well, I know this is our thing. But it's not a murder weapon. You'll smell it, it's wine. The murder weapon, dripping with blood. Really now? I swear that was the grisly scene I saw before me. Thank goodness it wasn't a passenger saw, or there'd be widespread panic by now. Aren't I a passenger? As I recall, you were quite panicked yourself at the time. Excuse me? You were scared enough to misread the situation and accuse me of murder. Nonsense. Professional flight attendants cannot afford to be that flustered. I witnessed the murder scene and am now listening to your defense, all with a smile. Apparently, you also lie with a smile on your face. So if you would please cooperate, we'll turn you over just as soon as we land. Well, let's go back because we know what we're doing. Ain't no murder weapon.
Objection!
Miss Teneiro. What is it with the yelling all of a sudden? Ah, force of habit. Well, it doesn't matter. Miss Teneiro, you say you saw the murder weapon dripping with blood. Is that correct? Yes, all that blood. Drip, drip, drip. Just recalling that scene sent a chill down my spine. Sorry, but your so-called professional flight attendant training has failed you. What? I'd like to direct your attention to this. Do you know what this is? It's a travel wallet, right? But it looks a little big and bulky. The thing you saw me holding when I discovered the dead body in the elevator was this very travel wallet, Miss Teneiro. What? Impossible! Now then, do you still think I am the killer? That I killed him with a travel wallet? But I saw blood dripping from the wallet. I know I did. As you can see, this wallet is clearly stained. But if you would be so kind as to take a whiff, I think you'd agree it's only grape juice. Oh yeah, never wine. Then... That's right. You mistook grape juice for blood. The murder weapon dripping with blood does not, in fact, exist. No! There. That should clear up that pesky accusation. Wait just a sec. That is... I mean, even a wallet could be deadly if it was wrapped around something heavy. I demand that you show me what's inside. Please. She's trembling, and the tacked on please at the end. Sounds like I've got her. There's no need to look inside. Even you can tell from its appearance that it's light. No, I can't be sure of anything until I see the contents of that wallet for myself. She's a persistent one. I suppose we have no choice but to see what's inside. Miss Teneiro, if you would be so kind as to open the wallet and check its contents for me. Alright, I usually don't pry into passengers' belongings, but we have no choice here. Just open it up. It seems this passport is all that's in here. As you saw, there is nothing but a passport inside. This renders your wallet was the murder weapon argument moot. Wouldn't you agree? Please hear me out, Mr. Edgeworth. What is it now? Well, I was wondering, whose passport is it exactly? Can I take a look? Why not? I'm rather curious myself. This is... just as I thought. This travel wallet belonged to Mr. Akbey Hicks, which makes it the victim's property. Okay, that's going to incriminate us. Why are we carrying the property? You stole the victim's wallet, didn't you? How dare you? You said it yourself. You claimed to be holding this wallet in your hands when I found you. Perhaps I did misconstrue the wallet for the murder weapon, but it seems that I wasn't wrong about who the culprit is. Miss Teneiro's logic. As you claim, the murder weapon is not the travel wallet. However, it is something you stole from Mr. Hicks after you were done with the vile deed. I find it hard to believe myself, but your motive was very simple. You were out to steal Mr. Hicks's money, weren't you? Really? So even though I didn't have the murder weapon on me, you still suspect me. I see. You stood up at the crime scene with the victim's wallet in your hands. How can I turn a blind eye and not suspect you of foul play? I mean, it does look suspicious. As you claim, the murder weapon is not the travel wallet.
Hold it!
Shouldn't that be proof enough for you that I did not murder the victim? Not at all. Oh, and why not? Because that wallet may not have been what I thought it was. However, it is something you stole from Mr. Hicks after you were done with the vile deed.
Hold it!
You think I stole it? Yes, I'm very sorry to say it, and I wouldn't usually be so rude, but it must be said. I never thought I'd see the day, but here I am calling a passenger a thief. Maybe I should put on a serious face and say it more directly. I believe you removed the wallet from the victim's personage. It really doesn't matter how you phrase it. What I'd like to know is why you think I stole Mr. Hicks's wallet. I found it hard to believe myself, but your motive was very simple.
Hold it!
We're getting to it. I don't think I have any sort of motive to speak of. I've never met Mr. Hicks before, and our only connection is this one flight. But that is more than enough of a reason. How do you figure? He was sitting in first class, and I think the implication is quite clear. You were out to steal Mr. Hicks's money, weren't you? I mean, I'm pretty sure he's got his own.
Hold it!
You think I was after his money? Where did that cockamamie idea come from? True, you're also a passenger in first class, but I thought something was off about you and those deeply edged lines on your face. Or forehead, even. They're not lines. They're perfectly normal and a part of my natural face. I don't think I've ever met someone with such terrible countenance on a flight before. And that's when it hit me. You have the face of someone with money trouble. She really is making a fool of herself pursuing this line of logic. I should spare her and present the piece of evidence that contradicts her testimony. So something does right there. As you claim, the murder weapon is not the travel wallet. Are we actually at the end of everything? So this is where we're presenting, because even Edgeworth said so. I'm not here to steal money, so what am I presenting? We've got Sky Magazine here. We haven't actually checked it out before. Details, meals, movies, and other services inside. A flight itinerary. That's going to be coming interesting. All times shown correspond to our departure time zone. Well, that's an incredibly bold text. Or very separate from the rest. So that's going to be interesting too. Only 3 sections for drinks? This is bad. I need more drinks than that. Crime scene notes. Body found at 6:15 a.m. inside the elevator stopped at the first floor lounge. Oh, okay. Simply the fact that if I'm here to steal his money, why is his money on the floor? Simply does it. I wonder if I might get a word in, Miss Teneiro. Well, what is it now? Miss Teneiro, I wonder if you notice the contradiction within your own testimony. What are you talking about? It's simply impossible. The motive for this murder was monetary theft. One glance at the crime scene should have told you that. What about this scene would prove that the motive for the murder was not the money? I mean, I'll click exactly this money. It says exactly, it's failing at actually getting his fingers on it. If I may direct your attention to the things strewn all over the floor. Ah! That's right. The floor is covered in bills and coinage. By your rationale, these were the very things the killer was after. Ah! I think we can assume that the wallet fell during the victim's struggle with his killer. And I would think that the killer would have noticed something like money scattering everywhere. Furthermore, as you can see, there was no effort made by the killer to gather the money. But the wallet! Ah, yes, the wallet. You will also recall that the only thing in it was Mr. Hicks's passport. Ah! If you are really insisting that it was a crime based on greed, then you're claiming it was all for an empty travel wallet. Forgive me! Please! Hey, what the heck? Are you saying the attendant's wrong? So that guy isn't the killer? Don't believe it, everyone. It's a trick. Ah! Will you all please be quiet? Miss Teneiro. Yes? You lost your cool when you saw the dead body. Plus, the lounge was dark, and looking into the light from the elevator, It's easy to see how you mistook the wallet in my hand for the murder weapon. I take no offense that you thought that I was the killer. Mr. Edgeworth. Thank you for releasing me. Eh? What is it now? Someone's saying some stuff. Mr. Nero, if you could please translate, I'd be much obliged. It sounds like Bulgarian, but I don't understand any of it. There's another attendant on this flight who... I said that he's giving me runabout. I don't require an interpreter. I speak English just well. See? You, the attendant. Yes, sir. I want this person to be under the arrest until we arrive at the airport. I'm sorry, sir, but what exactly are you hoping for? What is it you want? I'm finished talking to the likes of you. Please, I would like to hear why you would like me to be held under arrest until we land. You, who dare you try to waste my time? You were the one who stuck your nose into my affairs. I wanted to spend even at least one more second with my precious art. I have no time for other things. I know what you are. I see through you. Insolvent. Yes, I'm pretty sure that's how you say it in English. Well, I'd hope that I don't dissolve in water, but I don't think that's what you meant. I'm sorry, but I don't think I caught your name. I am Zinc LeBlanc II. I'm a very wealthy man in the Bourgogne. But I'm not an ordinary rich man. I'm an art dealer, a rich seller of beauty. Mr. LeBlanc, what did you mean just now? Pardon? When you said that Mr. Edgeworth was giving me the runabout. I have to explain? Unbelievable. I will say it once and only once. I do not have even a second to waste. Time is money, as they say. Yes, and yet you continue to blabber on. I saw it, yes I did. I saw the victim go on to the elevator, going down to the lounge. It was exactly at 6 o'clock. And what's the significance of that time? At 6, he says. Well, wait. You say you saw him at 6? What's the matter, Mr. Edgeworth? He understands, I see. Miss Attendant, what time did you discover the body? Well, it was a little after that patch of turbulence, so I would say around 6:15. Hicks was his name, was it? And I say that man Hicks was killed in the 15-minute time span. And the only person in the lounge at that time was his prosecutor, yes? Yeah, I was in my seat the whole time. Me too, I was watching the movie and enjoying a fine glass of grape juice. I was still eating, so I haven't finished, see? The other passengers have an alibi, so you have no problem with them, I suppose. No compliant, I see. Not a single word against this, right? I have no way of discounting what you have put forth at this point, but it wasn't me. So you say. But do you have what you say, the evidence? Mr. Edgeworth, are you really the culprit after all? Mr. LeBlanc, I suppose you are quite certain what you saw? Enough to give testimony? Of course! I was looking at that man the whole time. He was playing with that annoying little, small machine the whole time. Machine? Yes, that's what you people call it in English, yes? It was making me crazy with a click, click, click. From that description, it sounds like some sort of small computer. I believe what Mr. LeBlanc is talking about is a cell phone. I have to say that I did see him playing with it quite a bit myself. A simple cell phone. A laptop or organizer I can see, but that's kind of low budget. I hate that noisy little machine in his hand. Not a fragment of beauty. All it produces is ugly sounds. Anyway, I know what I saw. Miss Teneiro. Yes? I was wondering if I might be granted permission to examine the crime scene. What? You want to examine the crime scene? If you would grant me a little measure of time, I'm sure I could produce the real culprit. I don't like the sound of that. Fox in the duck pen. Yes, I think that is how you say it in English. It's Fox guarding the hen house, and I believe my innocence was proven earlier. And if I'm given the chance, I can clear up all the remaining doubts. Miss Teneiro, if you wait until we arrive, there is a good chance that some evidence will have been destroyed by then. I understand. Let me see what the captain has to say. Ha! This should not be approved. Please, Mr. LeBlanc, in an emergency, all decisions are to be made by the captain alone. Now please wait here while I go ask the captain what to do. I'll be right back. You were not planning to erase evidence when you were doing your investigation, yes? Of course not. Ha, we will see. Mr. Edgeworth, you have the captain's permission to investigate the crime scene. What? Unbelievable! I'm in your debt, Miss Teneiro. However, there is one condition. I am to supervise you. Can you agree to that? Of course. I see no problem with that stipulation. It's only natural as I am still a suspect in this case. Ugh. I take full responsibility and will watch Mr. Edgeworth's every move. I hope this is reassurance enough that there will be no foul play. Now then, Mr. Edgeworth, shall we proceed? If you should need my help with anything, please feel free to touch the pardon button. It's time to head to the scene of the crime, the first floor lounge. Which is via that way, but I can go around and talk to other people, right? It's a movie poster for License to Love, Laugh, Maim and Murder. It's an iFly Airlines sponsored movie. It's a suspense, hardboiled, action, romantic, horror comedy movie. Is that the genre listing for this movie? Yes, it's a movie that can be enjoyed by anyone because it encompasses all those genres. I can't even begin to imagine what the plot of this movie would be like. But you have to admit it has piqued your curiosity, right? I heard the main strategy with this genre listing was to make people curious. Well then, consider the mission a successful one. I mean, I'd want to watch it to see how terrible it is. Excuse me, but may I have a word with you? You there! If you need something, please ask Miss Rhoda over there, okay? What the? Hey, wake up, you! I'm terribly sorry that she's being so rude, Mr. Edgeworth. No need for you to apologise. I just find it hard to believe she's asleep on the job. If I were a boss, I'd see to it that her salary was cut so low that it was in the red. How did you find your meal to be, Mr. Edgeworth? Come to think of it, I forgot all about it. I must have been asleep or something. Oh, I'm terribly sorry. Let me prepare you something right away. What are you apologising for, Miss Teneiro? I failed in my professional duties by letting a passenger go hungry. Please help yourself. If you see anything to your fancy, feel free. I think I'll take my time later, after I've solved this case, thanks. Alright, well, there's more people to speak to on this hallway, so let's do it. I have to investigate. Time should not be wasted. Precious is human time, is how you say it, I believe. This was Mr. Hicks's seat. I don't see the machine Mr. LeBlanc was talking about. Perhaps it's in the elevator. Maybe. We should probably head down to the crime scene now. While I'm on my way... Oh, that's right, I was in the middle of recreating a chess game. Just an observation, but are there too many red knights around that lone blue pawn? Nonsense. It simply shows that the blue pawn is no match for the red knight's might. I see how you'd put that there. Well, we've got Mr. Prepper here. Don't get near me, you criminal! He said, don't get near me, you criminal. I'm not the killer, and I intend to prove that starting now. But that's contrary to the facts! He says, but that's contrary to the facts. What, your sources, YouTube videos? I can understand his English just fine, thank you very much. If I may have a word with you. This steak, so awesome. That's great to hear. However, I would like to ask you a few questions. I was here the whole time, so I wouldn't know. Eat or speak. Please pick one. I think he chose to eat. Yes, I can hear that. Hey, miss, how about another glass? Excuse me, but I was wondering if you know anything about the murder? The bottles are not secure from turbulence. How about it? How about a glass together? Sorry, but I must decline. I wasn't talking to you, I was asking the queue attendant. I'm sorry, but I'm on the clock right now. But if you need a refill, I'd be happy to bring you another glass at any time. You got it, Toots. That's no way to talk to a lady. And he's not. As we head downstairs. At 7:26 a.m. to the first floor lounge. Downstairs sounds so weird. I want to thank you for your help back there, Mr. Teneiro. It was nothing. You should thank the captain for granting you permission. And just so everything is perfectly clear, I still don't trust you to that extent. I don't want you to think your standing with me has changed. I see. I'll bear that in mind. I received an order from the captain earlier. He wanted you to know that. We reserve the right to stop your investigation if we feel you are not making progress. And when we do, he asks that you please return to your seat at that time. So my time runs out at his and his crew's discretion, does it? I have to find a way to discredit Mr. LeBlanc's testimony before time's up. I understand. By the way, is there any place you can think of where the killer might hide on board? I don't think so. After every first-class passenger was accounted for in his or her seat, we made a thorough search of the plane. As for business and economy class, no one can move between those two classes in first class without a staff keycard. And we found no record of a keycard being used at all. Which means that I have a first-class killer on my hands. At least I know that much for sure. And one other thing. No one else has been allowed near this crime scene since the murder was discovered either. And so we begin the investigation of the first floor lounge. Now then, let's get started. We will get started, of course. But we will get started at this point with the investigation. Next episode, the scene has been set. High-flying drama. A killer in first class where there's only a few possible suspects, it looks like. We'll maybe narrow things down next time on Miles Edgeworth, Ace Attorney Investigations. I'll see you then. Bye-bye.